Today on ZZZ Made Easy, we're doing a crash course under Yixuan Shifu. You might want to get a notepad for this one. We'll cover Yixuan's main mechanics, how to build her, and some tips you can go into. We'll talk about a few additional tips at the end of the video. This guide was made in collaboration with Hoyoverse. Footage uses from the creator beta server, so there's no sound effects and things are subject to change. Thank you Hoyoverse for this opportunity. Yixuan is an S-rank Auric Ink Rupture Agent from Yunkui's Summit. Yixuan is the first agent with both of those traits, so we'll go over what each of those are. As for combat, Yixuan is a stylish Grandmaster Mystic with a variety of moves to master to dish out damage on the field. She will need to juggle multiple resources to keep up her adrenaline in battle. Let's talk about the Auric Ink Attribute. Like Miyabi's Frost Attribute, which is a variant of Ice, Auric Ink is a variant of Ether damage. Auric Ink damage has its own gold anomaly gauge. Filling the gauge will inflict corruption, and as far as I know, it acts the same as the normal Ether corruption. For the sake of agent or gear effects and just game mode modifiers, anything related to Ether damage will affect Auric Ink damage. As for Rupture, this is a new class type for ZZZ. Rupture agents are said to have a mix of offense and survivability. Rupture agents utilize Sheer Damage, which is a new damage type. Sheer Damage ignores enemy defense, which means it's not affected by defense shred or pen ratio buffs. To calculate sheer damage, Rupture agents use a new Sheer Force stat to replace the attack stat in the formula. Rupture agents convert 30% of their attack into sheer force. Attack buffs will still be useful, but you're going to get less value. Something I don't believe is tied to the Rupture class is that Yixuan will replace her energy bar with Adrenaline. Adrenaline is its own stat with a separate regen rate as well as generation rate. It still has a 120 Adrenaline max, and Yixuan regens 2 Adrenaline per second. Even though it's pretty much like energy in practice, Yixuan has many ways to recover Adrenaline. Let's go over Yixuan's core passive. I will be splitting it into smaller sections. First, Yixuan gains extra sheer force based on her max HP. Every point of HP grants 0.1 sheer force. In other words, to calculate Yixuan's sheer force stat, you take 10% of her max HP and 30% of her attack stat. Despite the higher scaling, agents just have way more HP. Yixuan is very much an HP scaling agent first, and leveling her core passive actually grants base HP instead of the usual base attack. The second part of the core passive states all Auric Ink damage Yixuan deals is considered sheer damage. When Yixuan triggers her Auric Ink corruption anomaly, she will restore 10 adrenaline. This can occur once every 10 seconds. Spoilers, Yixuan only deals Auric Ink damage, therefore all of her moves are considered sheer damage. For the third part, Yixuan enters battle with full adrenaline. When she does a perfect dodge, she will gain 5 adrenaline. This can occur at most once per second. For the full adrenaline refill, this can only occur every 3 minutes in the new Investigation Zone mode. The fourth core passive is very simple. Yixuan's Auric Array move, Qingming Eruption move, all of her EX specials, assist follow-ups, chain attacks, and ultimates will get 60% increased damage at core passive level F. We'll get to all of these in a bit, but basically it's free bonus damage for leveling the core passive. Definitely do that. The fifth and final part states, when Yixuan consumes Adrenaline, she gains 0.67 technique points. This is represented by the resource bar under her portrait. Yixuan has a 120 technique point max, meaning you need to spend 180 Adrenaline to max out the bar. You will spend Adrenaline with Yixuan's EX specials. Once it's filled up, the resource bar will glow, Yixuan's ultimate will change to a new symbol, and you can cast a unique ultimate move immediately. What I will refer to as the Technique Ultimate, or just the Tech Ult, is called Endless Talisman Suppression, and it has its own animation. This is a big burst of damage like any regular ult. After launching this move, Yixuan gains 1 Auric Ink point. The circular dot on the resource bar will now be colored in. There is only one use for the Auric Ink point. It modifies one of Yixuan's basic attacks into a new version called Auric Array. To activate, you hold the dodge button and Yixuan will start channeling. During this time, she's invulnerable. The Vital View time slowdown triggers, and Yixuan will start recovering 7 adrenaline per second. She will channel for 3 seconds, so this will recover 21 adrenaline. At the end of this move, Yixuan will automatically do Qingming Eruption. Keep this full wing attack move in mind, we'll see it again later. There is a second way to activate Auric Array. Yixuan has a special dash called Nimbus Step. If you hold a direction and hold dodge, Yixuan will catch a ride with her bird. If you have an Auric Ink point, Yixuan will have a glowing talisman. Doing a basic attack at this time also triggers Auric Array. Let's recap so far. Yixuan will spend Adrenaline with EX specials to get technique points. She uses the technique points to cast her extra Tech Ultimate. That gives her an Auric Ink point, which is used to cast Auric Array. Auric Array recovers Adrenaline to help repeat the cycle. Let's talk about Yixuan's actual ultimate move now. Like normal with 3000 decibels, press the button for Qingming Sky Shade. This ult deals more damage than Endless Talisman Suppression, and it looks so sick. If Yixuan has both a full technique point bar and 3000 decibels, she will prioritize casting Endless Talisman Suppression first. You can immediately follow up with Qingming Skyshade if you wish. Only Endless Talisman Suppression will grant an Auric Ink point, but Yixuan's 2 ultimates will also evenly distribute the squad's HP on activation. Besides her many iframe moves, I suppose this is the survivability portion of the Rupture class. After either ultimate, Yixuan can chain into Auric Array if you hold the dodge button during their animation. To get the most out of your time, you can actually swap agents while Yixuan channels the move. Yixuan will finish the channel automatically, and you can start attacking with someone else. Next, let's talk about Yixuan's additional ability. She's the first agent to have 3 conditions naturally. One ally just needs to be a stun, support, or defense agent. You can run Yixuan with just about any of these supportive classes. This ability has 4 effects, which can be split into 2 sections. First, when any of Yixuan's allies use their ultimate, Yixuan will start to recover an additional 2 adrenaline per second over the next 10 seconds. If Yixuan would switch out with Perfect Assist, she would do a lightning strike attack and restore 5 adrenaline. The ally ultimate effect does not stack. You need to use one ultimate, wait 10 seconds, then use your other ally's ultimate. If you use them back to back, you're just going to reset the timer. For the other half of the additional ability, Yixuan's EX Special Cloud Shaper and EX Special Ashen Ink Becomes Shadows will deal 30% increased damage to stunned foes. After she activates either of these ultimates, Yixuan will get 40% crit damage for the next 15 seconds. These 2 effects buff Yixuan's damage. With multiple ultimates, Yixuan can have that crit damage buff for longer throughout a fight. However, is it worth staggering ult usage instead of just using bolt ults during a stun phase? Well, when it is time to do big damage, Yixuan can instead use her EX Specials. We haven't talked about any EX Special moves yet, so let's fix that. We've been talking about how to recover adrenaline. These moves will be how you spend it. Cloud Shaper and Ashen Ink Becomes Shadows is technically one move. I'm just going to refer to both as Cloud Shaper. To activate it, you hold the basic attack button, not the special button. Yixuan will also need at least 40 adrenaline. On the startup, Yixuan will consume 20 adrenaline and begin charging up an energy sphere. She can charge for 2 seconds and consume 20 adrenaline per second. This means the full 2-second charge up costs 60 adrenaline. You can end the charge early by releasing the button or just running out of adrenaline. After the charge up, Yixuan will collapse the sphere. This move is Ashen Ink Becomes Shadow. Cloud Shaper can group up smaller enemies similar to Nicole's energy field. On activation, you can trigger a perfect dodge and Yixuan will enter the Vital View time slowdown. Despite the hold basic input, you got full iframes on this thing like any EX Special. You can start holding the basic attack button during other animations and Yixuan will follow up with Cloud Shaper. For example, after casting ultimate, you can go into Cloud Shaper directly. Do this on stunned foes to get that extra damage from the additional ability. Yixuan's other EX Special is Ink Manifestation and it includes a 3-part combo. With 40 adrenaline, this time press the special button to do an upward wing attack. If you hold the special button, Yixuan will start to charge up. After you see the flash, you can release the button and Yixuan will now do the wing attack plus an additional talisman follow-up. Ink Manifestation gives Yixuan immense protection. While charging, Yixuan automatically blocks incoming hits and counters back. You can also time the move right before getting hit and Yixuan will perfect block the attack. This increases her interrupt levels similarly to a defensive assist, and she's going to recover 10 adrenaline. In addition, perfect blocks will cause the talisman follow-up for extra damage. You do not need to charge up the move all the time. After doing Ink Manifestation, tap the special button to do a follow-up attack. This is called EX Special Celestial Cloud Blitz Break. This follow-up doesn't cost any adrenaline and actually hits quite hard, no reason not to do it. After this move, you can tap special a 3rd time. This would do EX Special Qingming Eruption Break. This second follow-up does cost 20 adrenaline to do, but it also hits hard and it hits in a big area. To review, Ink Manifestation is a 3-part combo. The first part can cause perfect blocks and can be charged away for an attack. The second part's a free follow-up. The third part costs 20 adrenaline. This combo hits quite hard and Yixuan is invulnerable the entire time. Yixuan does have a lot of moves, so just to be clear, Qingming Eruption Break and Celestial Cloud Blitz Break are reused animations with different damage and daze values. Qingming Eruption is the wing explosion after doing Auric Array. Let's go over where Celestial Cloud Blitz comes from. Yixuan has a regular defensive assist, so it's going to cost 2 assist points to parry the harder hitting attacks. Her assist follow-up is the actual Celestial Cloud Blitz move. Nothing too fancy about the base move. Let's cover Yixuan's basic attacks next. She does a 5-part combo dealing Auric Ink damage. Yixuan's second basic, which is the dash through, has iframes. The fifth basic, wing slap, also seems to have iframes as well. Yixuan's third and fourth basics have increased anti-interrupt. You can power through weaker attacks, but Yixuan kinda just wants the perfect dodge to get 5 adrenaline back. After she perfect dodges, you can do the dodge counter. This move does last for a bit, which gives some extra iframes, but it can mess up your timing if you wanted to initiate another move after. Yixuan's quick assist has the same animation as the dodge counter. You're going to be seeing this move a lot, so try to get familiar with how long it actually lasts for. Yixuan has a vast arsenal of moves and multiple resources to juggle. To help you understand when to use said moves, let's split her general game plan into 3 sections: spending adrenaline, recovering adrenaline, and then stun phase DPS time. First, our goal is to build technique points by spending adrenaline via EX specials. One way to do this is by doing the Ink Manifestation 3-part full combo 3 times. This will fully charge Yixuan's technique points, which allows us to use her tech ultimate and this talisman suppression. This is the most basic way to enact a Yixuan's gameplay loop. We do the full Ink Manifestation combo 3 times because each full combo consumes 60 adrenaline. To fill the 120 technique point bar, we need to consume 180 adrenaline. 60 times 3 is 180. You can do the Cloud Shaper EX special since it also consumes 60 adrenaline if you fully charge for 2 seconds. I don't generally like to do this because A, enemies can move outside the sphere, and B, it just does less damage than the Ink Manifestation full combo. The other reasons I like the Ink Manifestation is that it recovers 10 adrenaline on perfect blocks. The full combo also counts as 3 EX special casts, which will fully activate Yixuan's tailor-made drive disc set. More on that in just a bit. When it comes to recovering adrenaline, Yixuan has many methods. As mentioned, getting a perfect block recovers 10 adrenaline, but you can also mix in perfect dodges and perfect assist as well as just basic attacking. Standard on-field stuff. Once you do the tech ultimate, you will have the 1 Auric Ink point. This allows us to use the Auric Array move, which recovers 21 adrenaline over 3 seconds. Later in the fight, try to stagger your ally's ultimate use. The extra adrenaline recovery from additional ability does not stack. In general, try to keep an eye on Yixuan's adrenaline and technique points. Once your technique bar is filled, you should try to use the tech ultimate. Spending more adrenaline will just be going to waste. Once you do fill the technique points bar, you can try to build adrenaline with just perfect dodges or basic attacking. Stocking up on resources isn't a bad idea before ulting, and this also applies to getting a stun off. For stun phase DPS time, Yixuan has 3 options. She can use her tech ultimate, her actual Decibel real ultimate, and then her EX specials which cost adrenaline. Ideally, you want to have at least 2 of these things ready before a stun starts. After doing chain attacks, Yixuan wants to use an ultimate. This will give her the 40% crit damage buff. You can then follow this up with a second ultimate. These moves take a bit of time, so you might only get the 2 ults into 1 stun. If you can only use 1 ultimate, Yixuan can do her EX specials for DPS. While Ink Manifestation normally does more damage than Cloud Shaper, the latter gets an extra 30% damage on stunned enemies. Cloud Shaper also takes slightly less time to do. With enough adrenaline, Yixuan can do Cloud Shaper 2 times. If it's a really long stun phase, Yixuan can do both ultimates and Cloud Shaper. Definitely worth a try if you got the time. When you're doing Cloud Shaper, keep an eye on that technique bar. You should only try to use it until the bar is filled. If it's a stun phase, you can just go into the tech ultimate right then. A reminder that the startup of Cloud Shaper only costs 20 adrenaline. It can be better to do that instead of the 40 adrenaline Ink Manifestation. It's a quick way to top off that technique point bar if you only need a little bit more. One last summary. Try not to use adrenaline once your technique points are full. If you aren't close to a stun, you can use the tech ultimate to start building up the next technique bar. Use that 40% crit damage while fighting on field, and don't forget to use Auric Array at some point. If you are close to a stun with full technique points, then try to push for the stun faster. Save the tech ultimate for the stun phase burst damage, and possibly follow it up with Yixuan's actual ultimate. Fill in the rest of your stun time with Cloud Shaper's charge up sphere attack. As we move into the build section, a reminder that Yixuan scales with HP. She converts it into sheer force. Rupture Agents convert attack into sheer force, so it's not bad to have, but it is less valuable compared to Yixuan's HP conversion. Now with the new Rupture class type, ZZZ has added 4 new Rupture W engines. One of them is a B-rank gacha option. Starting with Yixuan's S-rank signature, Chinging Birdcage has a 30% HP main stat and it grants 20% crit rate. On EX special casts, Yixuan gains 8% ether damage and her ultimates and EX specials will get 10% ether sheer damage for 15 seconds. This can stack 2 times and she starts the fight with 2 stacks already. Considering Ink Manifestation can do its first swap for free, that's 2 stacks each use, very easy to upkeep, and the bonus crit rate is really nice. If you buy the Battle Pass, starting in version 2.0, there will be a new Rupture W engine called Radio Wave Journey. This is an A rank with 25% HP as the main stat. Upon chain attack or ultimate cast, the user gains 80 sheer force, stacking up 3 times and lasting for 12 seconds. Yixuan can get 3 stacks with 1 chain attack and 2 ultimates. You can also just do the double chain attack with Yixuan. You may not always get the full benefits of this W engine, but its HP main stat and pure sheer force buff is quite good. Last, for the craftable A rank, you got Puzzle Sphere. It has a 25% attack main stat. On EX Special Cast, gain 16% crit damage for 12 seconds. Additionally, if the enemy is under half HP, your EX Specials get 20% extra damage. I did most of my testing with a Refinement 5 Puzzle Sphere, and I thought it was a fine option. Yixuan will like the HP main stat and extra crit rate for signature, but you can definitely make do with the craftable. For Drive Disc main stats, Yixuan wants crit rate or crit damage in Partition 4, Ether damage Partition 5, and then percent HP Partition 6. Yixuan can get a lot of percent damage bonuses, so you could also do HP in Partition 5 as well. For substats, HP is going to be preferred, but attack will be okay to have. Try to get a lot of crit stats as per usual. Because sheer damage ignores defense, Flat Pen is actually useless for Yixuan. Try to avoid that if possible. For 4-piece sets, Yixuan gets her own tailor-made set. Yunkui Tails grants 10% HP for its 2-piece. On EX Specials, chain attacks or ultimates gain 4% crit rate, stacking up to 3 times and lasting for 15 seconds. If you have all 3 stacks, you get a bonus 10% sheer damage. The duration resets with any trigger. Because Ink Manifestation and his 2 follow-ups also count as EX Special moves, Yixuan can stack Yunkui Tails extremely easily. You can refresh the stacks with chain attacks or 2 ultimates, and even Cloud Shaper will retain the buffs. The 2-piece pairing for this set is just going to be more crit stats. If you really need crit rate, go with 2-piece Woodpecker. If you got enough, then go for 2-piece Branch and Bladesong's crit damage. If for whatever reason you don't want to farm the new set, Yixuan could use Chaotic Metal. It boosts ether damage and crit damage, but you need to trigger Corruption and its additional damage procs. If you use Yixuan's Auric Ink with an actual ether agent, then you could technically increase the chances for more corruptions throughout the fight. It's an option, though I wouldn't recommend it when Yunkui Tails exists. For teams, the main issue for Yixuan right now, being the first Rupture Agent, is that we don't have Rupture-friendly supports. Luckily, the devs are releasing one with Pan Yinhu. Pan is a defense agent who grants a 540 sheer force buff. That is substantial because it's equivalent to an 1800 attack buff. Pan can also inflict a debuff on foes, which makes them take 20% more damage. Thankfully, Pan Yinhu is super simple to play. You press EX Special to trigger a quick assist backwards into Yixuan. Doing this will give her that sheer force buff, and Pan will apply his debuff from off-field automatically. He's great at M0, and his buffs get better with Mindscapes. This duo also has great survivability perks. The new Exploration Zone will have Miasma hazards that deal damage. As you explore, Yixuan's ultimate will equalize your team's HP levels. Pan's ultimate is a team-wide heal. Now the third ally for Yixuan is very much intended to be Jufufu. I did not get to try her out as of this video, but it's clear from the special program info, Jufufu synergizes really well to complete the Yunkui Summit faction team. Jufufu has some off-field zone capabilities and can buff the team's crit damage. She also buffs chain attacks and ultimates. Jufufu is the best user of the new King of the Summit Drive Disc set. That also gives more crit damage buffs. Jufufu then has the unique traits of letting her team stack 4,000 decibels, and Rupture agents will get decibels back on ultimate usage. Sounds pretty sweet for the agent with 2 ultimates. Even though I didn't try out Jufufu, there are many other options for that last slot. She won't get the full benefits like other agents, but attack buffs still give Yixuan sheer force. Astra, Caesar, Lucy, or Sokaku can be used. Astra and Caesar have extra damage buffs, which are good. Lucy is a straightforward attack buffer, but she can help keep the 4-piece Astra voice active if you're going to go with Pan. I actually really like Lucy in this team because Yixuan's multiple EX special moves can summon a ton of guard boars for Mindscape 6 Lucy. A fully channeled Cloud Shaper, for example, summons 5 boars. Now in version 2.0, Lucy is getting her additional ability changed to work with Rupture agents. This allows her M6 boars to inherit her crit stats. It's a fun little synergy for the new Rupture team. Now the other options for the third ally can be a stunner to replace Jufufu. Sadly, Trigger cannot activate her additional abilities, crit rate to Daze Conversion. However, her always active 35% stun damage multiplier is really good for Yixuan. Additionally, Trigger can use the new King of the Summit set, and her multiple quick assists can work well with Pan to activate Astral Voice. Despite the additional ability loss, I was really impressed with Trigger. For similar reasons, Poker is a decent A-rank alternative, especially with M6. Poker's additional ability also got changed to work with Rupture agents, which allows her M6 debuff to function. The last old agent to get their additional ability changed is Kaleda. Kaleda can do fine, but her only buffing support is for chain attacks. While good, not really where most Yixuan's damage comes from. Last ally I want to mention is a bit of a surprise. Despite sheer damage ignoring defense, Nicole can work with Yixuan. Her addition ability buffs ether damage, her signature buffs all damage, and then M6 Nicole can grant 15% crit rate. These are all things Yixuan can use. You can use Nicole if you got no one else for now. If you don't want to use Pan, you can combo all of these other options together. Astra plus Trigger is going to be fantastic, and you could do something like Polka plus Lucy. In the future, be on the watch for more Ruptured focused supports. I'd now like to take the time to briefly talk about Yixuan's Mindscapes. For M1, she gains 10% crit rate and 120 technique points when entering the fight. When allies land a hit, every 6 seconds Yixuan will summon a lightning strike that deals damage and restores 5 adrenaline. More crit, more adrenaline, and you start the fight with technique ultimate ready to use. Very nice M1 ability. For Mindscape 2, Auric Special and Ultimate will ignore 15% ether res. After using her real ultimate, Yixuan will extend the stun timer by 3 seconds. M2 has a part 2. When using the Tech Ultimate, Gain Condensed Ink, this allows Yixuan to cast a unique Auric Special Break version of the Endless Talisman Suppression move. Basically, M2 adds another move to Yixuan's arsenal. For Mindscape 4, any ultimate grants Tranquility up to 2 times. Each stack of this makes the next Cloud Shaper deal 30% more damage. Basically, for the stun phase, you want to do 1 or 2 ultimates and Cloud Shaper gets even stronger. For Mindscape 6, after using her real ult, Yixuan can cast her Tech Ultimate for free 1 time. In addition, M6 will add a 20% sheer damage buff to the meditation states. This is added to the 40% crit damage buff after any ultimate. If you save the real Decibel ultimate for a stun phase, Yixuan can use it to extend the stun timer and then do a free Tech ult. With M2, she can do a break version of the Tech ult, and you can even save your technique points for another ultimate. Kinda just insane, but expected of Mindscape 6. If you're looking to outfit Yixuan, her signature is great for the crit rate and other stats, but M1 also grants crit rate. Both of these are good, although M1 also lets you just use the Tech Ultimate immediately as soon as you enter battle. If you go for M2, the stun phase extension is really good, plus you get that extra break version of the Tech Ultimate. More moves to master for the Grandmaster. For the after party tips section, believe it or not, there are still things to talk about. Let's go through the fun tidbits in a more casual manner. First off, enemies with the new Miasma shields get increased defense. Sheer damage ignores defense. Therefore, Rupture Agents are going to have the advantage assuming Miasma is prevalent in Season 2. For Yixuan's Auric Ink Anomaly, the corruption damage actually scales off Yixuan's attack stat. It also doesn't do sheer damage. For what it's worth, Yixuan doesn't really play around her Auric Ink Anomaly. Its main purpose is to give her 10 adrenaline when it activates. A somewhat common move I didn't talk about is the dash attack. If you hit basic attack again after the dash attack, Yixuan will shortcut to her 3rd basic. After finishing her 5th basic attack, you can loop back around with the dash attack animation if you keep hitting the button. This spin move is going to be seen a lot because it's actually going to happen after pretty much any of Yixuan's big moves. If you hit that basic attack button, you can just loop into the basic attack from there. Holding dodge is how you do Auric Array, but if you do not have the Auric Ink point, Yixuan would do a weaker Ink Veil Cloud Coalescence move. This move looks like the Auric Array, but it doesn't have iframes, it doesn't recover adrenaline faster, and it doesn't channel on its own. It does have good area effect though. Stick a pin in this, we'll talk about AoE more in just a bit. Going back to the stronger Auric Array move, if you start the animation and dash cancel, Yixuan will no longer recover adrenaline, despite the move still dealing damage. You can swap agents, just don't dash out early. Yixuan's regular special can trigger a perfect dodge, but it does not give iframes after. Honestly, just do a regular dodge counter instead. While holding Ink Manifestation, if you keep holding the button after the wing attack, Yixuan will do the first follow-up automatically. She will not do the second follow-up though. Instead, Yixuan will go back into another Ink Manifestation charge-up. Technically, this is a way to survive any incoming attacks instead of dodging. Yixuan will do the auto block, get iframes on her 2 attacks, then get ready for another auto block. Interesting, but try to score those perfect block timings instead. Last, I got a couple fun things to keep in mind. Yixuan's 2 ultimates both restore 1 assist point each, that's a nice bonus. For those that want to try hard, if you can do the dodge parry assist, then the perfect dodge gives 5 adrenaline, and the perfect assist gives another 5 adrenaline. Fun little tech to practice. For the final topic, I want to mention Yixuan's AoE and grouping potential. She has a lot of moves that can suction in smaller mobs and just hit in a wide area. From earlier, the regular Ink Veil Cloud Coalescence is a great way to pull mobs together without using adrenaline. Yixuan is vulnerable, but at least for Shiyu, she can stun lock these smaller mobs. You can swap out to set up after. If you want iframes, Cloud Shaper can pull enemies into its sphere. Yixuan's dodge counter and quick assist also have mini grouping capabilities. Her two ultimates can both suction in bigger elites. They still need to be a little close together, but at the very least, she'll pull them close enough where you can hit them with Cloud Shaper afterwards. All in all, Yixuan Shifu is just a really fun on-foot DPS. If you like having a lot of moves, then there's a lot to master, and if you like pairing, then oh boy. The hardest part of playing Yixuan is balancing her adrenaline spending and recovery. The same decision making goes for the double ultimates and when to use them. When you get the double ults off during a stun though, man is it a lot of damage. If you're a new player starting with version 2.0, then welcome to ZZZ. I promise most agents aren't this complex. If you want to learn more about the other agents in the game, I have some guides covering most of the cast. I'll leave a link to a playlist and other videos in the description. Speaking of which, expect a guide for Pan Yin-Hu sometime soon. That's all I have for this long video. Shifu is intense, but once you get the flow for adrenaline-filled gameplay down, then it's pretty addicting to chain those perfect blocks and unleash the double ultimates. Good luck if you're going for Yixuan, and have fun with Season 2. I will see you in the next video.